Around here, there's a bunch of crooks around here.
You ain't supposed to be in that jail, boy. Get out of there, man.
No, that's a total no, man. VAT coming.
Is my salary going up?
Bahamian people gotta wake up.
This is my 5 cents and I approve this message.
The Prime Minister slams the opposition's call for an early election. The BC chairman hits back at interference allegations. South Beach MP Cleola Hamilton's harsh words for United States Congress. And debate begins on the long-awaited disability bill. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith and MB12 starts right now. Topping news tonight, Prime Minister Perry Christie today dismissed Free National Movement leader Dr. Hubert Minnis's call for an early election. Not mincing words, he slammed the F&M leader, insisting Minnis is not ready for a general election or to be Prime Minister. Our Jasmine Brown has the details in this report.
While responding to calls for an early election, the Prime Minister also defended his administration's time in office. Earlier this week, Minnis called on Prime Minister Perry Christie and his entire cabinet to resign and call an early general election before the administration destroys the country. He claimed Christie's record of poor judgment and governance has placed the Bahamas on a path to disaster. Minnis also said that a laundry list of bad decisions by the Christie administration has led to a loss of confidence among the public, and the best solution is to seek a new mandate from the electorate. But Christie brushed aside those criticisms, adding that Minnis was merely looking for a way to stay relevant. Christie said Minnis' comments were silly and should not be taken seriously.
The first thing you should tell the leader of the opposition, never ask for in politics which you can't handle. That's the first thing. He does not have the capacity at this stage to even dream of something like that. We are not going to be distracted by silly little interventions from the leader of the opposition who's looking for newspapers, and he's a newspaper space, and he's obviously able to get it. God bless him, right? He can do that for the next several years as we continue to govern. I'll read what he has to say. If you ask me to comment on it, I'll comment on what he has to say, but he knows when he says it, he's not ready for it. It is just in a vacuum. It's a silly statement to make because everybody in the Bahamas knows he's not ready for it.
Christie added that the government has not forgotten the promises it made to the Bahamian people. He insisted the government is also devoted to its pledge to reduce criminal activity in the country as well as build up the economy. Christie said the government will not be distracted.
We have been elected for a 5-year period. We have had a platform that we have not resiled from, meaning we intend to carry out what we were elected to do. We are clearly committed to working at putting our hands around the situation of crime, because it doesn't help our economy, it doesn't help the young people who are involved in it, and so we have a multifaceted approach, and we are not dismayed. We are continuing our resolute commitment to bringing crime under control.
When asked if he planned to run for another term in office, the Prime Minister had this response.
That's not important to me now. You see, the fact is that people keep on talking about whether I'm running again. You know who decides whether I run again? Firstly, me and my family. Secondly, the people, the members of Parliament and the political organizations throughout the country. So I'm not going to be distracted by that now. And if you ask me the question, I see people are saying I am running again. That's fine. They're able to say that. I'm now running to get results for the Progressive Liberal Party government. That's what I'm running for. I'm running full speed all the time. And I have not taken a day off since the elections. I'm driving the government in this regard. There are going to be people who make mistakes in the process. We will have to correct those mistakes, but we are moving forward resolutely to deliver what we promised the people of this country.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Brown.
The Christie administration is exploring how it can revamp what many consider a failed mortgage relief program. The PLP's pledge to bring mortgage relief was formally introduced on April 1, 2012, during the final weeks of campaigning for the 2012 general election. That's according to Prime Minister Christie, who said today his administration is committed to keeping its promises. While he declined to reveal details on the plans to revamp the program, he said a team is currently working on it.
Right now, this morning, we are meeting and looking at how we are able to really rehabilitate our efforts in that regard.
In February 2013, Chairman of the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation, Alex Storr, revealed no BMC clients who applied for the government's mortgage relief plan qualified for it. At the time, Storr said he has made suggestions to Cabinet in an effort to increase the number of people that could. The government allocated $10 million for the plan in September 2012. However, few qualified. According to the government's figures, there are around 4,000 homeowners in arrears. Minister of State for Finance, Michael Halkitis, initially projected that 1,100 Bahamians would qualify for the plan. Back in November 2012, he said that only 150 out of 400 applicants qualified for the plan. Well, Bahamas Electricity Corporation Executive Chairman Leslie Miller is firing back at the media over recent leaks of electricity bills. The chairman also remaining tight-lipped over reports of him intervening in certain disconnections. Kyle Joaquin reports.
On Monday, the Nassau Guardian reported that Jones Communication owes $106,000 to the electricity company. Outside the House of Assembly today, Miller said people's bills are private and should be kept that way.
I don't think it's fair that no customer of BEC should be dragged through the newspaper. I think it's wrong. I think you all should stop and desist from doing it, because I don't think none of us should be subjected to it. Customers should not be subjected to it. In fact, I'm told now that some customers are going to take legal actions against BEC for having their bills in the newspaper and in the press, which is wrong. Okay, we try to assist people as much as we can.
According to a manager at BEC, just after an employee disconnected the power supply of Jones Communication, Miller called the employee on his personal cell phone, cursed at him, and told him to reconnect it. When asked if he did in fact intervene in that disconnection and ordered that the light at Jones Communication be turned back on, Miller said this.
Sir, I told you that people come to me every day for assistance to have lights reconnected. I told you 95% of those persons are homeowners who come on a daily basis looking for assistance. I try my best to provide that assistance.
Now the chairman insists he's never seen a disconnections list at BEC and says all he's been trying to do was assist struggling homeowners who've run into hard times while trying to pay their light bill.
People only come to me when their lights are off. I've never seen any listing of BEC with anyone's light bill. It's none of my business, none of my concern. People do call me on a daily basis asking to have their light reconnected, and 95% of those persons are homeowners who we assist. And they would come to me and say, Mr. Miller, I have a few dollars to pay on the bill. I don't have enough to pay. They may want me to pay 50%. Could you give me a break? And we may say, well, pay 40% or whatever you have to turn you on. That's a normal thing.
Miller said he will continue to offer assistance to those who need it. He said if he is criticized for it, then so be it. Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
South Beach MP Cleola Hamilton is the latest government MP to hit out at the U.S. government over that investment climate report, which pointed to the Christie administration's unfulfilled campaign promises and reported interference in the public contract bidding processes. In Parliament today, Hamilton said it's disingenuous for the U.S. to talk about the Bahamas government because the U.S. Congress does, quote, absolutely nothing. She was quickly stopped by the Speaker of the House.
Personally, I think, Mr. Speaker, it is disingenuous coming from a country whose Congress sits around and do absolutely nothing, Mr. Speaker. Fail to fulfill their election promises.
Member for South Beach.
To its people.
Member for South Beach. The chair would prefer in this instance that we apply the rule of relevance in this debate, and the chair would prefer that you, all members, their remarks are related to the disability legislation.
Mr.
And
Speaker.
So the chair takes the matter very seriously, and I want to apply the rule of relevance to this debate as we go forward. And so stick to the matter at hand.
The 2014 Investment Climate Statement was released on June 26, written by Washington-based diplomats assigned to the Nassau U.S. Embassy. The report raised concerns about a reported lack of transparency and undue government interference in the Christie administration's bidding and procurement processes. The report also highlighted the government's failure to fulfill many of its ambitious campaign promises. Prime Minister Christie has already voiced his disagreement with the report, stating he believes the author of the report interfered where they ought not to. He also asked, quote, "Should I be talking about how many failed promises President Barack Obama had?"